another tier list, but this time it's Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 Blacklist Cars tier list. That's right, someone made a tier list, and I am gonna rank the 15 Blacklist cars from Need for Speed Most Wanted in this one tier list. And if you don't know what a tier list is, basically we have a few tiers, and the lower you are, the worse you are, and the higher you are, the better you are. Now, before I begin, there is just one disclaimer I want to make. If you'll notice, there isn't a BMW M3 GTR, and that's because technically it's our car. And plus, I would already give that an S, so we have Razor's Mustang instead, which is fair enough, but just keep that in mind before we begin this video. And now let's start with Blacklist number 15, Sonny and his Volkswagen Golf GTI. And I have to say, this is actually one of my favorite cars, or at least my favorite Blacklist cars in the entire game. And it's just the first car. Yeah, I'm not joking. Sonny did a great job with this car. I mean, yeah, it's a Golf, but this looks incredible. I mean, the vinyl is amazing. The body kit is amazing. Everything is amazing about this car. And I also do want to mention I am not considering performance, because you can just upgrade any of these cars and they'll be still really fast. So really looks play a big role here, and I have to say I really like this Golf. I'm gonna put this in A tier. I think that is a great place to put this in. I just really like this car. Next up is Taz's Lexus. And this one, I don't know. I actually don't really like this one. Well, let's just start with the paint. What is wrong with this paint job? I mean, it's not that bad, but it's like, it's not even yellow, but it's also not brown. It kind of looks like when it rains and a puddle of water forms in mud. And that's the color that you get on that water. That's how that water's colored like. That is approximately the color of this Lexus. And not only that, the vinyl. It's a sick vinyl, I have to say that. But on that paint job, I don't know. And I'm also not a big fan of that body kit. There are better body kits for the Lexus in the game. Let me just sort of mention this before we go any further. I like all of these cars, but if I had to rank them, I would probably put this in E tier. Yep. Next up is the Toyota Supra, VIX Toyota Supra. And I mean, it's a Supra, so I don't really know what's their debate. I think there are just way better entries. The Supra is already really good, but I would probably put it in like A tier. But yeah, A tier. I think A tier is fine, right up there with the Golf. Okay, next up is Izzy's Mazda RX-8. I have to say, that looks really good. The body kit, I would say, is fine. I would probably use that as well. The vinyl is awesome. I am not joking. That is a sick vinyl. But, I mean, it's not a bad car, but the Mazda RX-8 is like, it's not a bad car. But I would say, maybe, I would consider some other cars to probably put this vinyl on. We will find better entries, and that is why this kind of gets a C tier. I think you'll see why it goes in C tier. It'll make sense later, but I think that's where we should leave this at. Next up is Big Lou's Mitsubishi Eclipse. And okay, so the Mitsubishi Eclipse, the newer generation, the one from the 2000s, not the 90s one, I understand that not a lot of people like it as much as the older one, and I can see why. There are a few things, I mean, there are a lot of things different from the original Eclipse, or like 90s one. Uh, I mean, I'll just name one. The 90s one had like the tail lights. They were like one single tail light, even though, you know, the middle was like just red and said Eclipse on it. This one has them split, and it kind of goes for a more different but also modern look. And the thing here is, that gets me to think that this car maybe isn't too suitable for, you know, modding like a street car. I mean, this is a good edit. I really like the vinyl, and I do like that they put black, and the vinyl just looks amazing on it. But the body kit is more of a race car, more of a track car than a street car, and that's sort of what, you know, it's sort of like, yeah, on one hand, it's like a very nice street car, but then you just have this race car setup, and it's a bit conflicting. But overall, I would probably give this a D. Next up is Baron's Cayman S. And this is where I have to say, why? We're talking a Porsche, a Cayman S Porsche. Like, I can get on with the vinyl. I mean, it's a sick vinyl. I think what really kind of has it for me are the bolt-on vinyl decorations. You'll see on the car, apart from the flame, there are also these bolts that appear on the sides of the car, and I just don't think it works. But I think the vinyl is sick. Again, black, so this sick vinyl on black, awesome. I'm probably gonna put this one in D tier as well, but I would probably put it in like upper D tier. Next up is Earl's Mitsubishi Evo, and I just have to say it, this is going in S-Class. Oh, yeah, I mean, there is just nothing like this. The vinyl, spot on. The paint job, spot on. Everything is spot on. The body kit is spot on. The spoiler is spot on. Everything about this car is incredible. I mean, it's just so amazing. I really like this car. It's an Evo. This is going in S tier. Definitely. Next up is Jade's Jules Mustang. And this is another one of those cases where I think this is similar to the Porsche. The Mustang, at least this new Mustang, it's kind of like, you know how you wouldn't tune a muscle car? Like, I guess the only body kit I would accept on a muscle car would be like a track body kit, but I think a muscle car should be left stock, at least the exterior. But this Mustang, this 2000s one, I think you could put a body kit on it. Like, this one just makes it even more bulky. I would say it adds even more muscle to it. But this is kind of the case where I think they did a good job. They did a good job. I think the body kit is, I would say it's fine. The vinyl is, I'd say, good. Yeah, I mean, the red elements here are nice, and the stripes, I guess that's fine. There is the Jade, like, name written on the side, which, I mean, I can see why, but it's just kind of strange for you to drive this car after you've got it, if you got it, because, you know, it's like, it's like you're driving someone else's car, but, yeah. I would actually probably put this in D tier as well. It's not bad. I would put this in D tier. I think D tier is, again, a place I would put this at. Now, it sounds like D tier is like really bad, but I mean, so many of these cars are so good. I just don't think there's place or any space to put these like upper in the list. So, yeah. Next up is Kaze's Mercedes CLK 500. Again, this is a case like the Porsche and a bit like the Lexus. You have more of a luxury car. I have to say, a body kit on this, the carbon fiber hood, the spoiler, it's a bit, it's not necessarily like a track kit, which again, I would be fine with. This is more like, yeah, it's more like a street kit, but I actually kind of, I don't know, I'd say this can go. I'd say this is a kit I could go with. There's the vinyl, which I think is really awesome. You know what? I'm actually gonna put this in C tier because I still think this is an awesome car. Yeah, I'd say that. Next up is Ming's Lamborghini Gallardo, and this one I'm in a bit of a dilemma with this one. On one hand, it looks awesome. I don't think there's a body kit. The spoiler, I think it's one of the minimal ones. The vinyl is spot on. It's really great. What has me in a dilemma is, do I put this in S tier? For the other reason, which I know, I said I wouldn't figure performance too much, but for this one, I just want to mention this. When you're playing career mode, if you get this car, if you get the pink slip for this car, you can actually skip all the other cars up until the final boss race, and you could very easily manage to win the game with this car from this point onwards. I'm thinking I'm actually going to put this one in S tier. Yeah, I'm actually going to put this one in S tier. I think it's that good of a car, and I just think it looks amazing. It has to go in S tier. Right, next up is Webster's Corvette. And this one is, the thing about the Corvette and the Viper, which we will get into, these are modern muscle cars, so body kits on them can sort of pass. Now, I think the Corvette has a good body kit. I mean, the vinyl is amazing. And they actually put a brown color here, which, I guess if it were like any other color, I would have thought a bit more. But I think the brown isn't bad here. I think it fits good on this car. I think the Corvette here is a great car. I'm actually going to put this one in B tier. I think B tier is a great place to put this car in. Next up is JV's Dodge Viper SRT, and this is a similar story to the Corvette. It has that potential to have more of a body kit look to it, but I do have to mention this. This is like the only car out of all the Blacklist cars that has like the pearlescent paint job, which just already makes this car even more awesome. This is a very great car, the Dodge Viper, but I would still probably put it in B tier alongside the Corvette. I think this is where these cars should be in. I think it's fair. Next up is the Aston Martin DB9. Why? Just why? This is an Aston Martin. And what did you do to it? You put a body kit, you painted it yellow, and then you added this green vinyl with the stripes and everything, which, if you have ever seen the car, if you view the rear of the car, where the rear bumper is, there is actually a text that's part of the vinyl that reads, "Kiss me, I'm Irish." Why? Who thought this was a good idea? No! No! Why? I mean, the body kit is, it definitely is like a racetrack body kit, but I mean, an Aston Martin DB9, like a race car? I mean, yeah, it is a powerful car, don't get me wrong, but would I think of this car to add a body kit on and like use this particular color and vinyl combo, the yellow and the green? No. I mean, this car, I don't know. I'm gonna put this one in E tier. I don't know. I don't know what happened here. I don't know why this car is the way it is, but it's going in E tier. Next up is the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, Bull's McLaren. And yeah, I forgot to mention, this is Ronnie's Aston Martin. That's why it says Kiss Me Mara. She's of Irish heritage. But back to the Mercedes, or the McLaren, should I say. This is how a car should be tuned. Basically, I don't think there's a body kit here. There's not even a vinyl, which this makes it actually the only Blacklist car you can copy. And, if you just showed it to someone in your garage, they wouldn't be able to tell if you actually got the car, if you just bought it and made it look like that car. But this one, it looks good. I mean, what else can you do with a car like this? I do want to mention, though, that I think before they actually made the game official, one possible variant of this car was with a body kit that made it very wide and a vinyl that goes along the hood, roof, and throughout the top of the car. The McLaren would go in B tier. I think B tier is a good place to put this car. And finally, we have Razor's Mustang. Another Mustang, but this one is Razor's. So the body kit here is different than the one on Jules' Mustang. This one is even more bulky. Like, I think this is one of the bulkiest body kits for the Mustang, which, I mean, it is like a Mustang, so I mean, it is already big. This makes it even bigger. The vinyl is really awesome, though. But I think this one looks more like... I think this one looks... I don't know. It is still a muscle car, but it doesn't really have that muscle car look. It's starting to move towards non-muscle car territory. And I don't know if I really like that or not. I mean, the vinyl, and I mean the color and the vinyl, they're obviously great. But the body kit is another thing. And I think this car, I think it's not that bad, but I would probably put it in like... I'd probably put it in like D tier. I think D tier is what I would perhaps consider a good place to leave this video off. What do you guys think of this tier list? Do you agree with it or not? Write in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.